My sculptures, I would call them pop surrealist because I'm dealing with themes like ice cream and desserts, so it's very poppy and surreal because I'm integrating all of those things with skulls. When I first start, I'm either online looking at images of desserts that I love the look of or the ones I want to eat, or it could be me going to a bakery, seeing what's out there and what I'm drawn to. Then I move on to sketching, where I kind of roughly lay out the ideas. Once I have that, the most important part is having all my elements created. So I would spend about 2 or 3 days just casting a bunch of skulls, casting a bunch of cookies and cupcakes and everything. When I first started with this series of work, I knew right from the start that getting the ice cream or like a donut glaze is the most essential part of the look of my work. So I experimented a lot with different types of techniques, just different ratios of water to dry clay that I play around with mixing to get the right consistency. So for example, if I'm doing a soft serve ice cream piping where I want it to have a texture to hold all those little marks of the swirl, then I would do it a lot thicker so there's a lot more clay to water. A lot of the tools I use in the studio are the same tools I would use in the kitchen. Especially when I was developing the waffle cone, I actually bought a waffle maker and I made the actual waffle and I molded it to get the right textures because I really wanted to pick up all those little details on the waffle itself. That was the most fun, is to see it come to life from, you know, waffle to an actual like clay cone. The piping bag is really great because I can play around with either like a small squeeze, I get a little dollop, or I can draw things with it, I can do swirls. There are a lot of different ways I can play around with the piping tip. I can get like a cookie, or I can get a meringue, I can get like a little icing drip kind of thing. Skulls are such a main motif in my work because this body of work is about my love-hate relationship with sugar, and I've tried so many times to quit. I was exhausted, I was frustrated. After quitting sugar for a whole month, I just had this vision for this sculpture that's a mixture of fetus skulls and ice cream, and it's kind of like a memento mori for myself. To remind myself that life is short and you should just do whatever you want. And you know, I feel like eating sweets, I'm gonna eat sweets. And that's when I started creating this motif, and it just exploded and turned into all these different styles. What I love the most about working in ceramics is that each time you touch something, it's unique and different. And even though I'm using a lot of molds, I'm repeating the same look. Each thing I pull out of the mold is still individual. I'm still touching it and manipulating it in a different way. My favorite feeling is when I step back and I look at a piece and I feel that it's completely balanced in its own way. All the pieces are in the right place. That's my favorite moment, and that is why I do this, to go on these little mini journeys every day. That's what fuels me the most.